Hi, everyone. This is Celia Hamilton from the Social Biz User Group. Thanks for listening to this podcast. With me today is IBM champion David Leedy. David is a longtime IBM Notes and Domino developer and self-described XPages fanboy. He's also the creator of Notes in 9, a website dedicated to tips, tricks, and techniques for working with XPages. He's also got about 35 hours of video tutorials from 31 different contributors on xpages.tv. It's a great resource. You should definitely check it out. Welcome, David. Thanks for talking to me today.
Well, thanks. And thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
I'd like to talk about application modernization, if that's okay with you. There's a concept that Notes apps look old or out of date. What's the biggest roadblock people have to updating their Notes and Domino applications, and how can people address it head-on?
Well, I think there's possibly a lot of roadblocks depending on what you want to do. I mean, when you say the Notes application, you think back to the Notes-rich client, which could look good or could look bad depending on how that was written, but probably does look out of date compared to these Web 2.0 websites of the world today. So one of the big roadblocks is what do you want to do with it? Is it going to go to the web, or is it going to stay inside Notes itself to look better? And then do you have the will and the skill to make it look good? Because a lot of times when I think, at least my experience, because I'm more of a back-end guy, I don't feel like I'm a user interface guy. So I can make a lot of good code behind the scenes, but that doesn't mean I know how to pick the right colors.
Right.
In my experience, you have like these one or two people, developers that are good at what they do, but you're tasked with, if you want it to look good, with skills that you may not be used to, especially if you're a long-time Notes client developer where you couldn't use things like CSS and all these other tools that the modern web world has done. Mm-hmm. So it's just a different kind of skill set to making back end Lotus code and making the right fonts and the right use of white space. And you have to be aware that there is a difference first. And if you're not aware, then you got a problem there.
Right.
And you have to dedicate some time to the look and feel of it, and not just start slinging code and then the application is done. And then you just deploy it without giving the look and feel for it some attention.
Okay, yeah, that's
if that answers the question. So it's just, I think it just comes down to just desire, and recognition that there's two pieces to an app. There's the piece that the user interacts with, and then there's the back end piece. And if you don't know that or realize that, then that in itself is a big roadblock.
Huge roadblock, yeah, understandably. So at Connect this past January, John had talked about the misconception that people will use any apps that you build for them, regardless of performance or look. And I'm talking about internal apps here, not customer-facing, because that's a different story. He talked about how that misconception is not true, and that people will find their own workarounds, like Dropbox or Gmail, if they feel like an app isn't working how they want. Do you find there are any other misconceptions like that people use to avoid modernizing their apps?
Well, I think John is right. I think people do feel that, we're going to just deploy this, and that's what they're going to use, mm-hmm. and that's just not realistic in today. I mean, 5-6 years ago, everyone deployed BlackBerries, and,
right.
and the iPhone came along, and people started using the iPhone. Why? Because it looked better, and the expectations were raised. In that, and then everyone always said the iPhone was a tool, would never get into business, and here it is.
Right.
So there are misconceptions that if you just throw it out there, that's what the users are going to use, because the users' expectations have changed, especially these last 4 or 5 years. I think a lot of it, quite honestly, I think it's come from Apple and the Android, and everyone's trying to push the bar on what's pretty and what's nice and usable. And your internal users, they'll find a way. If they don't like what you deploy, they'll try a Salesforce because it has a nice UI, mm-hmm. or they'll try, something that you might not even want in in your company just because it looks pretty, and the thinking that it looks pretty, there's a value to that, to the internal user.
Sure.
Scott Good used to have this session at Loadsphere that said you can't fix ugly. So it doesn't matter how good your code is behind the scenes. If it's ugly, the users are not going to want to use it.
Sure.
They're going to question everything, and they're not going to trust it. So users will find a way around. I mean, that's why you have all these IT departments with firewalls and they're blocking.
Right, exactly.
Because users are trying to find a way to do what they want the way they want to do it, and they're just used to that now.
Yeah, absolutely. You've shown your dedication to XPages with all of your video tutorials for Notes in 9. What an awesome resource for the community. How many video tutorials do you have?
Well, just yesterday I published show number 131. Of that, maybe 99% are dedicated to XPages. Most are like short tips. There's some longer ones in there, but it's mostly all XPages.
And which videos would you say are essential to watch?
Well, I guess it depends on what the person might be looking for. I have a link to my site. I have like this mind map where I try to categorize and make it like an episode guide to all my shows or so. So I've got a Start Here section that the first one that I have is one I did called the Great XPages Race, which was just try to build a tiny little app that could create, update, read, and delete in 5 minutes or less. There was something going on, so it was like a challenge. I've got some introduction to XPages. We've got if you're using XPages and you're interested in Java, we've got introduction to Java. And stuff like that. So it just depends on what you're looking for.
Sure.
If you're a pure beginner, though, I've got about eight shows listed in order on the guide map that is my kind of like Start Here section.
Oh, great. I'll link to that guide map in the show notes so people can get access to it, and just on the offhand that they haven't watched any. So
cool. Thank you.
Those 131 videos, which is a huge accomplishment. You don't do those alone, though. So how do you pick your contributors?
Oh, yeah, no, I couldn't do it without the contributors because, quite honestly, some of the topics the contributors come with, I have no idea what they're talking about until I see the video myself. Because, I'm just a corporate developer, so I'm not exposed to everything. Right. So, I mean, I've made, the best thing I've ever done professionally is make Notes in 9 and give back to the community because I've gained more from it. And one of the things I've gained is friends and people with common interests. So I usually kind of like hit them up first if I know they're working on something that would make a good show, or or quite honestly, if I'm struggling with something and I know someone knows how to do it, I might try to put a bug in their ear saying, hey, you should make a show on this.
Sure.
And that's just a little greedy, but I know it's going to benefit everybody else or so. But I will also, I try to, when I see someone on the XPages forum or on the blogs or so, if there's even someone that I don't know, if I see them around and I see someone looks like they're doing something interesting, I do try to reach out where I can and talk to the person first, see if they're a good fit, see if they're interested in the show, and invite them on the show with a topic. And I've had a lot of good luck with that, and it's worked out pretty well. So some people have come to me directly, hey, I've got a tip, can I be on your show? And that's great. Some I've tried to recruit, so I take all comers, depending on, as long as it's a good topic that we discuss and stuff like that, then I'm open to just about anybody.
Yeah. So are you going to IBM Connect 2014 in January? Yes,
I am. So I'm looking for that. I'm looking forward to not speaking this year because I did three sessions last year.
That's a lot.
And I did next pages session that had a repeat, and it just was a lot of work. So I'm looking forward to just learning, not having any responsibilities, and be able to sit in the sessions and just absorb what everybody else is doing.
Yeah, I can really see that. So so is that the thing you're looking forward to most is being able to relax and go just as attendee?
Yes, not have to carry a laptop with it. There's a lot of XPages sessions historically, and I'm sure there will be again. So I'm looking forward to basically getting into those and seeing what's new. I think they've started pre-announcing a couple on one of the sites. I forget what they are. I know Kathy's speaking. She's doing some kind of XPage session. I forget which one. So a couple are starting to trickle out, which just makes you more excited. And between the show and tells and the sessions, so I'm just looking forward to learning and growing myself and my skill set.
That's awesome. Yeah, and there'll definitely be the opportunity for that. They are I think the rumor is that they're releasing maybe once a week. They're going to trickle out some session announcements, so we have something to look forward to.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's new. That's fresh.
Yeah, it is. Who knows, though?
Yeah, so it's good to change things up a little bit. And
definitely.
Things to get excited about.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk to me today, David. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thanks to you, our listeners. Make sure to check out socialbizug.org. It's a user group community built entirely on connections, Domino, and XPages technologies, and is built for IBM Notes and Domino administrators and developers. Membership is completely free, so sign up today. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at SocialBizUserGroup. Thank you.